Hello and welcome to a Last Epoch stream. This is Geo Galvanic. Here today, I'm going to be talking a little bit later about the Shatter skill. The devs have posted up on the forums a suggestion thread. So they're looking for some ideas for nodes to put in on Shatter. So for context, I'm going to start playing my Cold Mage, which I did try playing Shatter with on before, but I'm just going to give it another go. See what it feels like, just to add context to the conversation a little bit later. I've been wanting to play this guy again as well anyways. So, just to kind of remind myself what I've got going on here. I have the freeze with the larger AoE and increased freeze duration, which works pretty well with Invoker's Heart. So I've got about a 5-second freeze on an 8-second cooldown with the snap freeze. Ice Ford, I believe, is just generating Ward. Glacier, I have just dealing the two glaciers at the reduced mana cost. I don't remember if so I didn't spec into teleport at all, and I spec'd into the cold conversion for the volcanic orb. So looks like that. Not too shabby. So I'm gonna hop into our monolith, I guess. Choose a timeline. The cavern. The flooded cavern. So one of the downsides to this is that snap freeze has a really low cooldown. Oh yes, I need to add Shatter Strike onto the bar so I can try it out a bit. So Shatter Strike scales with a lot of things. It has increased melee damage and added melee cold damage for each point of dexterity, and increased cold damage and increased freeze chance per point of intelligence. Freeze rate of 50, which Glacier has. The middle one has a freeze rate of 60, so it's less than Glacier. Strikes enemies in a circle around you, dealing cold damage and cooling frozen enemies at low health. Which the low health part seems to be very low health. What's up, Geo Minivan? Why am I a minivan now? This is news to me. Am I a dad? I'm not a minivan? I don't know. I've never known myself to be a minivan. I don't know if I'm calling anything or not. Hello, Reimer. How's it going? Is anyone really not a minivan? What makes a person a minivan? I thought being a person and being a minivan were mutually exclusive things. The tree's in here. Oh my, everyone's in today. Y'all came in fast. You tell me. You're the one who said I was the minivan. Why do I have to tell you? You're a dog. Now tell me why. Tell me why you're not a dog. Lies, Kappa. You didn't know if today was a stream day or not. You tried to work it out while I was trying to sleep. Today is a stream day. Yesterday was a stream day too, but I only streamed for like 30 minutes. I got super tired and was falling asleep on stream, which is probably not fun to watch. Increased damage. Was there a mana? Yeah, I took the mana efficiency already. You'd still hang out with me sleeping. Talking about the Shatter Strike, yes. And I was going to wait for you to get in, but you came in really fast. Because I wanted to look at your skill tree too. I already looked at it a little bit. You missed me by like 5 minutes? Oh no, maybe you could have kept me awake. Oh, I got some good sleep though. So, there's a hit. You're going to stay, of course. Of course you will. Let's see. I'll shift it. Yeah. So we're going to take a look. We've got all the perfect people here to just do some chatting. Here we go. Forums. Here we go. We'll pull up Reimer's thing first. By the way, did you look at my suggestions before you made your tree, or did we just happen to suggest like similar things? So here we have it. We have Reimer's masterpiece. I'll make this a little bigger. I did make it bigger. There we go. So we have Shatter Strike. Shatter Strike no longer has the culling effect. Gasp. You just had the ideas, but you tried to make synergies. Nice. No longer has the culling effect, so no longer has the thing that makes it called Shatter Strike, but has increased crit chance, increased crit multiplier, increased mana cost, and increased stun chance. Increased mana cost, that sounds super heavy. And increased stun chance, that sounds cool. I had a similar idea later. Glacial Swing. So the offsetting part would be reduced attack speed instead of increased mana cost, which I think would make it feel kind of good. But like, the attack is already kind of slow. I think the full attack is kind of slow. So I think if you made it, if the attack slower, I think it would A, look way more badass, and B, it already costs a ton of mana for like a skill that you'd want to spam a lot. Of course I have the browser open on top of it. But yeah, that's the gist of it. God, I'm making finger guns. Pew, pew. What add-on did he use to make the tree in Google Drive? It's you just make it with the Google Drive thing. It's like Google Presentations or something. Oh gosh. New. More. Google Drawings. Made it with Google Drawings. But I had increased reduced attack speed and increased damage, but maybe, you know, reduced attack speed and stun chance would be a better combo, because that also makes sense. Increased critical strike chance. So this was the idea that I had that was similar. Creates a small blizzard around you when you critical hit an enemy. The blizzard follows the character and chills nearby enemies while lowering the cold protection per point. The idea I had was adds a cooldown, adds cooldown and summons an ice vortex that follows the spellblade for the duration of the cooldown. Which was, I kind of had the same like blizzard thematic going, so I think something with a blizzard theme would be pretty good for that, for the skill. So you can map out your crazy with a professional touch. That's exactly right. Some of my other ideas for that were like increased freeze rate of the vortices, so that you could you could use the vortices as your way to freeze, and then use Shatter Strike as your way to coal. So you don't have to rely on using Snap Freeze or getting a lucky freeze chance with one of the other skills in order to actually trigger the coaling effect. Summoning additional vertices, and no longer following the player but having a reduced duration. But I think it'd be cool, like just kind of like having the vortices just kind of wandering around too. So it's just like a giant blizzard of vortices. I don't know if vortices is the correct pluralization of vortex, but that's what I've been going with. I remember Swipe used to have the swipes that would wander about randomly. I think you were the one that found that tooltip hunt. Yeah, it's pretty funny. All right, some of Reimer's other ideas here. When you hit an enemy with Shatter Strike, 6 ice spikes are shot out in a circle around you at enemies within 5 meters per point. Okay, so giving it a bit of a ranged element. Is there a... So it would be like a full circle AoE. It feels like a Thornburst, I think. I think it would feel like Thornburst, like a cold Thornburst. Yeah. Reduce attack speed, the ice spikes now pierce. That makes sense. Would that be... Are you looking at reduced attack speed for the attack animation, or are you looking at reduced projectile speed? Both would be interesting. The attack? Mm-hmm. Increase the number of ice spikes by 2 per point. Increase ice spikes deal additional cold damage. I think if you have reduced attack speed somewhere else, that would have interesting synergy with one of the other ideas. The sub idea to Glacial Swing is the force of your blade leaves behind a dot that chills enemies, and the duration of the aura is equal to your attack time. So like so that would look like, so you're swinging the attack around in a circle, but as your thing swings, it leaves something behind, like a dot field. So the longer your attack time is, the longer your dot stays. Yeah. Which would be interesting if you could move while attacking. That'd be a nice node. Someone suggested like making the channeled skill that you can move around with, and I was kind of thinking, playing around with some movement ideas myself. But maybe if it was just an instant cast skill, be interesting. So then I could move around and like create dots where I go. Maybe make it an instant cast skill that decreases your movement speed for X seconds. So like you can move around while you cast it, but your movement speed will be slowed for even longer after you've cast it. So like it would be less efficient overall for moving around. Like a self-chilling effect, maybe. That would be interesting, a self-chilling effect, because that would also reduce your attack speed. I like that idea. I write that down somewhere. Self-chill instant cast. Maybe you're in my head. Let's see what this is. Ah! Sweet. You changed the attribute. Hey, welcome in, Infern. I missed you. How you doing tonight? I changed it when? I haven't changed it recently. Wait. First of June 2019? I didn't update it on June 2019. What page is that? Oh, there's that character stats? If that's character stats, I deleted a new line earlier. I deleted a new line. It was like a very, 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 very small edit. Good, good. Home from work, having a beer. Nice. Sounds fantastic. We're talking about Shatter Strike. Because the devs wanted some ideas. So I'm just talking about some of other people's ideas, some of my ideas. Thinking of some new stuff. Here, I need a notepad. Jet it. What was the idea? Instant cast with self-chill. Alright. What else is Ram got going on? Shatter Strike has 30% increased area of effect per point. Nice, I like that. Shatter Strike deals 30% increased damage per point to enemies within 4 meters of you per node. Within 4 meters. How big is the skill supposed to be right now? Is that supposed to be it deals more damage to close enemies? No idea. Yes, okay, so the idea is that it deals more damage to close enemies. So it gets bigger, but then you can also make it so that it deals more damage to people that are next to you. I like that. I was thinking some interaction where you wanted to be close would be cool. Freezing Touch adds mana cost and freeze rate. Interesting. 40% increased mana efficiency. Huh. So you're adding mana cost, but then you're getting a ton of mana efficiency. Like, I'm pretty sure you'd save mana from the mana efficiency there. Adds 5% per point to the health threshold of the cooling effect against frozen enemies. I think this is needed somewhere. Because, I'm not sure what the cooling rate is right now, but it's definitely very low. This bear's health is too high. Oh, the bear's dead. Never mind, his health isn't high enough. Let's try it. Try it again. I always feel like I kill things before I can cull them. Right, here we go. See, I don't... It doesn't save me a lot of work. Because I think the coal's only like 5%? 5 or 10% right now. Which is pretty meek. I gotta say though, one of the things that I really, really want out of this skill is not a node. It's a visual effect. I really, really, really want shattered enemies to shatter into like dozens of frozen shards. That should just be the thing. Right. Getting breakfast. Delicious. I need to go to the grocery store. I got paid today. Attack speed, increased attack speed. See, that would be nice to have on the tree with the glacial swing, so that there's also a node that you could take that would have a downside to one of your other nodes. Increased damage against frozen enemies. Yes, I like that. Shatter Strike has 15 cold penetration per point against frozen and chilled enemies. Can it just have cold penetration? I don't think it needs a downside. Cold penetration isn't great. Or it could be a lot higher. I think like the go-to cold, like go-to penetration amount for a node is like 30-40. Why not just suggest a node that does that? Because I think it should be default, should explode into dozens of pieces. I think that should just be what it does. And of course I have suggested a node that has explosive shards that deal damage. And I wasn't the first one to suggest that either. I was like the third person to suggest that. Because apparently that was an idea that was on a lot of people's minds. It's true. You're pretty hopeful they buff penetration somehow? Yeah, I'm not sure where to go with that. Protection in general is weird. I don't know. I'm still waiting for percentage of health damage that isn't culling. Maybe that could be something you can have on Shatter Strike. Does percentage of health damage to enemies that are on full health? So that way you have something to do at the beginning and the end. Be fun. I don't know if that fits the Shattering Strike thematic, but I think it would be fun somewhere. I was thinking that, I don't know if I put a suggestion for it, but I was thinking something that has increased damage or something to enemies that are on full health would be nice for this skill, because I think part of it is that it feels bad a little bit, because you have to get the enemies down really low in order to get the culling, and it's kind of difficult to get them down low and freeze them without already killing them flat out with something else. Like glaciers, just pretty much gonna kill it. Especially because most things that have a high freeze rate also have a high damage. So you're really looking at comboing that with Snap Freeze right now. Sounds a bit like that one skill from Sentinel. Are you talking about Abyssal Strike? No. Fury Leap is the other one I could think of that deals damage at full health. The damage increase against full HP and low HP? Yeah, that's Abyssal Strike. Vengeance? No. Well... No. Or no, it's a Racing Strike, isn't it? Something like that. Something Strike. Yeah, Racing Strike, I think. Yeah, I know what skill you're talking about. Okay. What else we got here? Shatter Strike has 50% less freeze rate, but every third hit has 30 cold penetration. I feel like that has bad synergy with Frost Punch. Because you want to freeze things and you want to get the cold penetration. I don't know if it's intended to have bad synergy. Shatter Strike can no longer freeze, but has 20% chance to chill per point. Huh. Shouldn't the chill chance be proportional to your freeze rate? Or is the idea to get like a more secure CC at the expense of the quality of CC. It has deals more damage to full HP and low HP. I'm pretty sure it's a racing strike. Is what you're talking about. Yes. Okay. So now you know against that boss you got a 80% chance to chill as opposed to the chance to maybe freeze them. Never. Because you can't freeze bosses with freeze rate. It's the very first skill you get a Sentinel. That's Vengeance. But I'm pretty sure Vengeance doesn't have increased damage against full health and low health. Unless I'm crazy. It might. I only pick up the defensive nodes on Vengeance. Because we all know damage to full health enemies is a trap. Left and right of the center node. 3% chance to apply Frostbite on hit. Frostbite lasts 4 seconds and reduces cold protection by 40, deals 10 damage per second. So that would that'd be the same as the Frostbite effect from Cold Freeze. Where is the chance to apply on Cold Freeze? Nope, don't close that. Oh, Snap Freeze. Frostbite. It just applies it with 1 point. Which makes sense that it would be a chance on Shatter Strike because it both costs less mana and does not have a cooldown. In fact, that might be a little bit overpowered compared to the Frostbite on Snap Freeze. It's getting kind of boring because it's becoming a bit of a band-aid modifier. Yeah, I see where you come from. Mostly I think it's boring because it's not useful when an enemy's no longer at full health. Right? It deals increased damage, but it's only really useful if you're ever going to hit an enemy more than twice. In which case you're usually going to kill the thing right away, so the increased damage doesn't matter. Or it does matter, and you really just want regular increased damage because you're hitting the thing way more than once anyways. But that's why I was saying, though, percentage of health damage as opposed to like blanket damage. Because that would be more useful than a blanket damage increase, usually. Because if you have 20% culling at full health and then 20% culling at low health, you essentially have 40% cold, and you only have to deal with 60% of the mob's HP, which would be really overpowered probably. But it would be nice to see the percentage, the at full health nodes be changed to increases damage based on the health of the mob, or the health remaining on the mob. So it deals more damage to mobs that have more health, but doesn't necessarily go to 0 as soon as you hit them once, or like accidentally have a dot land on them or something. Because right now they're pretty poopy. Don't like on full health very much, I agree. At higher health, or even if it was at high health and high health was like 65% HP, I think that'd make more sense. Because that's at least useful for against bosses, that you're going to have it greater than 65 HP for at least a little bit. Piercing Frost. 25% increased frostbite effectiveness. Hypothermia Shatter Strike deals 20% less hit damage, but frostbite can stack 1 time per point. So you can stack it up to 4 times. Reduces cold protection and deals 10 cold damage per second. So 40 dot damage. Interesting. Still not sure how I feel about Frostbite. I think I like it more on Snap Freeze because I see Snap Freeze as being more of a utility skill. What is going on with this? Hang on. Does anyone... Okay, it's not doing it anymore. There it is. You guys see my XP bar? Hello? Oh, the XP bar was flickering. Like it was like going like down to here. And then like go all the way back up there, down to here. And just like when I was moving the mouse on it. Down here or something. That was weird. No. It's fine now. Yeah, it is fine now. That was pretty strange. Maybe it's because I had the window open? Weird. Wow. Nope, didn't see it. You're going crazy. Reimer saw it too. It's recorded. It's recorded somewhere. Oh, look at this now. Look at it now. Look at that. Now, like, the entire left... What is going on? Oh, I know what's going on. I figured it out, I think. It was, the tooltips were hovering over it, somehow. From over the window, the tooltips were covering up the XP bar. Figured it out. You could both be crazy. This is not impossible. I wasn't crazy, but it was hidden. I figured it out. It must have been like hovering over that or something. Gasp. Turi, 99% sure I'm crazy. I mean, being crazy is where the fun is at. Alright, so those are Reimer's ideas. I guess we'll go up to the top here. See what other people thought of. There was a lot of ideas. Oh my gosh. There's a lot. Alright, Gerald's going to think of something and he's going to add it. Something like a pull, like it drags everything within 30 yard radius to the caster. Make it a % chance to pull in or it pulls in undamaged enemies. It'd be an interesting CC. I see Shatter Strike as being more of a knockback than a pull. Can't see the window now. There you go. I got debated by the UI, I sure did. You don't really know if you have anything to add. Just make the skill purple. Yes. Tari wants added void damage on all of the skills. No, no. You don't want purple? Skill change nearby enemies dealing 75% for each chain. I like that idea. The kind of an echo. But it does feel very... So I'm wondering if by chains it would deal an echo. So like another AoE right around the target that you hit. Or maybe it'll hit and then it'll deal not a chain. But like an actual like line. So not another AoE, but a line to nearby enemies. This game doesn't have that sweet Herald of Ice sound yet. It needs to make an amazing noise. Might actually go add that. Added void to damage. Avoid ice! That's what we need. Oh yeah, I had an idea for buffing the void maggots, because we need to buff the void maggots. Hashtag buff void maggots. What if the void maggots, because they're always traveling in super large packs, and they're super easy to kill, but they can be really annoying if they stay alive. What if you, like, when you kill a void maggot, you can only like kill one in the group at a time? So The void, so once a void maggot dies, it prevents nearby void maggots from dying for like another second. So then you basically are stuck with the void maggots, like the pack, for at least like however big the pack is, seconds. So like if you got 10 void maggots, you're stuck with 10 seconds worth of void maggots and life drain. He did like the lightning interaction ideas, but not the fire and frost ideas. Do we really need the lightning maggots buffed? Yes, we do. This is the person we put in charge of the wiki, by the way. Because who else but the person in charge of the wiki is going to care about the void maggots? Why though? Because I've been saying that we need more sustained damage sources. Like, guys, wouldn't it be fun if we all suffer? Yes, it'd be great. I'd rather die from an army of void maggots than the one critical strike of an auto attack from a void maul that deals like 1,000 damage. Which is how I literally saw Aishi die. You need to be crazy to want to maintain a wiki. Wiki authors and politicians, am I right? I feel like I'm very different from a politician though. Maybe we're both crazy. That's my common ground with a politician. I'm way more of a hermit than a politician though. Oh, Aishi. Speaking of Aishi, here's his ideas. He wants to see melee, close range, circular AoE skills as high risk, high reward, because the safe options that mage already has in general. Therefore, he prefers seeing Shattering Strike be a core damage skill. Those are like good melee spellblade options. It should not expand on utility. I disagree with this. I think skills having additional utility is okay, as long as they also have additional damage. Because mage does have a bunch of... Mage already has a bunch of basically core damage skills. Volcanic Orb is basically a damage skill. Volcanic Orb has very little CC, unless you spec into the Frost Orb, and then maybe you can do a little bit of chill with it, but not really much. It's primarily damage. Fireballs are primarily damage. Lightning Blast is primarily damage, except you can get some protection procs from it. But still, it's mostly damage. Back. Mana Strike is utility, Snap Freeze is utility. Elemental Nova is a PBOE that's... You can spec it in multiple ways. It can be damage, or it can have some utility. But I'd say this is more damage than utility. Glacier's mostly damage. You can spec mana. Mana is kind of utility. But the chill and stun chance kind of suck. You really basically just want crit or damage. This is all damage. Turi was on her high school's debate team. I also was. I was the president of my high school debate team. You don't know why I'm not even elected and already trying to kill us with Void Worms. Technically, I was elected as the wiki admin by all of the 1 people that voted. I think maybe 2 people voted. I can't remember if Micro3 had voted or not. You want to have Shatter Strike as something you can specialize that you never want to use it unless the mob is under a certain health percent. Was I the 3rd speaker? I was not the 3rd speaker. I was 1st speaker. I was only 1st speaker. 3rd speaker. My debate teams only had There's only 2 people on that side. I'm not very argumentative. I'm not, generally, because I can argue for literally any side I want at any time. I'm definitely a devil's advocate. Wait, really? You've lost so much of your competitive drive? The debates you had, each team was made of 4 people. That's interesting. The only debates I had with more than 2 people on a team were Mock Congress, and that was not. In fact, even in Mock Congress, we had 2 people on a team. Where that there was just like 20 teams in Mock Congress, which was, and it was just full of nonsense. 3 speakers, and the 4th was the who was like the silent one who helped write the rebuttal. Wouldn't they have to do the rebuttal? But actually, because I ended up being the person that stayed in debate the longest, so I always did whatever my partner was the least comfortable with between first or second speaker. So now I'm just going around killing things. But you want it to not deal damage to things that are on high health. You want it to only be something that you use against low health things. For it to be a good low health thing, I think the health culling needs to be much, much higher. I think it needs to be 50%. Because, I mean, if we were to compare the culling, this skill to swipe. Swipe has culling at 15%, and it's super good against like any health kind of enemies because of its like insane attack rate, bonuses, and lightning damage and other shenanigans. Like swipe is really good, and it has culling at 15%, and you wouldn't want to use it just when enemies are at low. I can see it being more of a high mana cost. I can see where you're coming from, where you don't want it to be a skill that you use and you only use that one skill, because I think we do have too many of those. Like, why use anything other than fireball when you have fireball, or why use anything other than lightning bolt? You want it, like you spec into building one thing that's really good, and then you build everything else as a support. Cold percent is higher when you use a different skill beforehand. I like that idea. That's a good idea. I'm gonna write that down. Percent is higher when you've used a different skill before. You get the topic an hour before. Interesting. Some of the debates you'd have in advance prior to showing up to the tournament even, so you'd have like weeks or months to prepare, like the policy debates were that way. My debate that I usually did was parliamentary debate. And we got our topic 15 minutes beforehand. So it was kind of off-the-cuff debate, basically impromptu, which I also did as part of speech. For every different spell you get used, you get 5% more. So, different skill, right? So not attack. I'm wondering how that would work with something like Ice Ward that you don't use. Because you'd have a cap at 20% then. Which is, it's nice to have like a natural cap there. I also don't know that I want to waste a snap freeze on giving a culling buff. Because I want to use snap freeze beforehand. So I guess it would depend on how long the recently used a skill duration be. But I think if you say within the last 4 seconds how many other skills have you used, I think that'd be fine. But then you'd basically be looking at building your mage full of instant cast skills. Or something like that. Reimer's going to be a big warlock boy. Dying to see the Rune Master and Warlock Masteries. I would also like to see them. I'd rather see Rogue. Not gonna lie. I had the two that I really wanted to see with the Paladin and the Druid. Warlock and Rune Master I less want to see. And I also got kind of what I wanted out of the Rune Master with the mirror images. Because I wanted to have... Look, I didn't even call those things. They're like maybe 15% health. Still didn't get cold. Money can't buy happiness. Surely there's a cast event logged, but they have to be different. Like you can't just go 4 times Ice Ward in a row and then Shatter. Well, no, I'm just thinking that you don't want to have to use Ice Ward, because if you use Ice Ward, then that's me turning off Ice Ward, right? And I can't turn it back on for another second after I turn it off. So it would feel bad with Ice Ward. So I don't know how you would count a buff like Ice Ward or Fire Shield. Fire Shield at least more makes sense, because when you recast it, it resets the duration, which is fine. But I can see like the drive to make it less casting. Psh, Rogue. Who wants Rogue? You're not interested in any melee side of Rogue? Me either. I want the Marksman and Falconer. I would very much like to play Falconer. Like the Falconer sounds like a Falconer mixed with Marksman is the character I always try to play first in any game. Not backstory was pretty cool. And it's also the only other female. There would also potentially be runes, but I only wanted the minions. I don't like traps or mines. You're always the caster. DW pistols and or daggers for you. DW Dark Werebear Druid Warrior Dual Wield. Cool. Thanks. Thanks, Drury. Frost damage if Witch Wizard type archetype, otherwise chaos. Ah, so you must love Shattering Strike. And freeze. Do you like being more of a CC Frost or a damage Frost? Paladin will be healer. Primalist has and will get some healing skills. I see Paladin as being more of a general buff and the Druid as being the healer. You love being far away, CC? Yeah. It's an interesting archetype that you don't really see developed well, which is nice to see that Last Epoch is going for that, like, CC Frost, as well as the CC damage. Each class has one supportery type mastery? Yes, they do. They all have support stuff, they all have minion stuff, and they all have fire damage. Like, of all the damage types for all of the classes to have, they all have fire type, fire damage. And the marksman will have fire damage too, so we know the rogue is also going to have fire damage. Mage is fire, of course. Paladin and Forge Guards have fire. What's the primalist fire? Fire Tornado. And then I made the Fire Acolyte, which was an interesting build. Glacial. I'll take that shard. Shattering. Shattering. I don't think I need it. Okay. Source. Spellblade. Oh, this, I was scaling dexterity, wasn't I? I was, for the added cold damage. Ooh, which dexterity also adds cold damage to Shatter Strike? That's pretty insane scaling. I think I wanted to also get Black Hole in this tree though, so like 3 more points in here. Increase cold damage. Yes, increase cold damage, please. Get out of here with all that fire. Too much. Wonder how much damage I'm doing with this. If only we had better tooltips. You like how we have enough passive points to pick up the lower stuff in non-mastery specs? Yeah, but I feel like we don't have enough to even get up high enough in these to really make it worth it. Or to make the specialization meaningful. Like, if I get up to this level in Sorcerer, it's very unlikely that I'm going to get up to that level in Spellblade. Because that's already 20, 25, another 25, that's 70 points just to get up to that point in 2 skill trees. Currently at 100, you'll have 110 passives. So 40 left over. Right, and so in order to get up to the top, which is usually where you want to go if you're specializing in something, that's another, was it 25? Yeah, another 20 points there. So 45. So 45 plus 20 is 65. Plus another 20 is 85. So I guess you could get up to the top in another one without the specialization. But feels like it's not doing a lot. The barrier there. You really like back when you got a big buff or something interesting when you chose your mastery? Yes. I think it would be nice if they brought that back. And 20 in each of the other 2 should get you a few more skills to pick from. Yeah. I think what they should do... I don't know. I'm having a hard time seeing the choice being meaningful anymore. I don't know how to fix that. Saying like maybe what if you chose your specialization a lot earlier on so like as soon as you unlock the specialization trees you choose which one you want, but certain nodes on the tree are limited to only being like certain nodes and certain skills are limited to only being a sorcerer, and then you don't necessarily have to have something way up on the tree in order to have it be sorcerer exclusive. Or maybe, well, the Sentinel has a skill node that has like increased crit chance for every node that you have spent a point on in this tree for the Void Knight, right? So maybe if there was more things like that, so that you're encouraged to spend more points in the tree kind of loosely. I don't know. Where's Black Hole? Is that something higher up on Sorcerer? No, it's right here at 15 Sorcerer. You could fill out the whole bottom half. Yeah, you could. Alright, going back to ideas for Shatter Strike. Glacial Smash, 15% more damage against frozen enemies. Don't expect rapid hitting skills to have a high freeze rate, as with no DR on freeze, it becomes hilariously strong as a CC. A skill can't be both a good DPS skill and a good utility skill. Something has to give, and it should be damaged. So I do agree with them on this. So if it is a good damage skill, it should also not be a good utility skill. And I think where that comes into play with skills that have both utility options and damage options is just having them on different areas of the skill tree. So you have to make the choice to invest in the utility options on here, but in choosing to invest in the options prevents you from taking the increased damage stuff, which I think they've done really well so far in a lot of skills. So an either or, which I think is good, because if I wanted to play Ideal primarily volcanic orb damage, but I want to have this Shatter Strike on the side as like my cold damage for the dragon effect and for cooling things, I think it's nice to have an option to not make it be exclusively damage only, because I think you can build damage only skills in a lot of other places on Mage. So I like that you can have the same skill and make it feel different depending on the build that you're making. So I don't think it has to be that there is no utility whatsoever in Shatter Strike. So Glacial Smash, similar to Fruit Lane, Reed's excellent application on fire themes. Commit to a certain playstyle. So See, Freeze, Enable, high damage on Shattering Strike. So yeah, I do like that kind of idea where the freeze is your source of increased damage, because that also does play into the cooling. Precise Strike, reduce freeze rate. You haven't really spent enough time in trees to think of the best examples. Today you promised to help with a PoE build guide. That sounds fun. That was like the one thing I enjoyed about playing in my 40 hours of PoE. Is experimenting with different builds. Theory crafting. PoE is a very good theory craft game. Chilling Waves, increased mana cost, it repeats an additional time. Oh, I had the same idea. Both skills with an Echo, Abyssal Echo, and third person are extremely satisfying to play just because all the havoc. Okay, so yeah, I had the same idea. I didn't actually read that one before I suggested it. With the flat cold, he's expecting to see typical melee to cold conversion nodes. I don't know. I like the Shatter Strike is cold. I don't know what else you would put damage-wise on it. You already have Snap Freeze, can turn into lightning. Physical, maybe. I'd be okay with it becoming physical. I had some ideas for physical damage effects on Shatter Strike. You're taking his terrible attempt at writing and making it make sense to a new player. Very nice. See, that's what I'm trying to do with the wiki build thing. I'm trying to automate the make it seem nice thing. Oh, that's funny. I remember that on Balor's stream. The random number of spaces. Is his keyboard broken or something? Or does he just really love spaces? Nope. Just love spaces. You should get him a shirt that says I heart space. He also does it with new lines. Weird. That's really weird. You should get him so a shirt that says I heart space, but the space, like at the bottom of the space, it's just a space with like the mouse cursor for like typing off to the side. So it's not like a stars or anything. It's just a space. You're doing it. A few ideas about Shattering Strike, repeating or echoing off nearby enemies. Chance to repeat on frozen enemies. The skill scales really well off of dexterity. It would be cool to see other mechanics that build off the dex stacking as well as jumping into the middle of packs for close combat. Evasive assault increased area for each hit you've dodged recently. I like that. That's an interesting idea. Because dexterity is also a dodge added thing. I like that. Spitballing some other likely unreasonable ideas. Those are the best kind of ideas. Those are the only kind of ideas I suggest. So it's a charge on enemies on hit, which does need after X seconds to deal X cold damage in a smaller area. I think that feels too much like Abyssal Echoes. That's exactly what Abyssal Echoes is, except for the charge also deals dot damage. Summon a clone of yourself who also uses Shattering Strike. Wait. Did he suggest this before I did? Because I totally didn't see that and suggested the same thing. Interesting. Did he edit this? No? Alright. So, popular idea, I guess. 2 nodes branching off of the same point. Shattering Strike has an X% chance to push back enemies it hits. Yes, I like this. I like this. I think Shattering Strike to me feels more like a push than a pull. Wait, both? And a chance to pull? With nodes behind for pull and push strength. So what, would you max out the percent at 50%? So like you have no idea if your Shattering Strike is going to pull things or push things? That would, I don't know. I feel like that would feel just super bad. You understood it to be 2 different nodes. Yes, but what happens when you do invest in both? Right? It does say 2 separate nodes, but like you have to take into account that you can invest in both. What if you do though? Don't. Just have a note in the tools tip saying, by the way, please don't invest in both because it'll feel bad. Isn't there something similar with Black Hole? I'd say the most similar thing is hammers, where you can, like, there's certain nodes that will prevent you from doing certain things. Like Enra's technique, and then the If you nova, you can't spiral. If you spiral, or like if you spiral, you can't nova. And if you chain, you can't spiral or nova. Yeah, look, I thought that was pretty damn clear. Then if you take one, you can't take the other. But what if I wanted both? I just think it would feel weird. What if I want to push and pull? Oh, you're not talking about Urza's technique down on the bottom? I mentioned Urza, and it's Enra's, not Urza's, I think, unless they changed it. Because if it's Urza's technique, I'll never use that skill node ever again. Because fuck Urza. Urza's a dick. You don't do good with names, you're a faces person. Fair enough. Just remember, Urza's a dick. Be good. Enra, maybe not so much a dick. We don't know. But Enra apparently is really good at his hammer throw technique, so I guess that's okay. He's probably okay. Urza equals dick. Urza's a dick that gives you more XP? Yes. He's having you do errands. He's a dick. We saved his life, and he rewards us with an errand. Like, how much more of a dick can it be? Although, to be fair, I think if you do completely ignore the mobs and just let Urza sit there and without doing anything, I think Urza will eventually kill the mobs. He's a lazy, sloppy dick. Oh my. Not teacher, sleepy young guy. No, he's the guy that you saved from the Void Maul. The sleeping guy is different. Elder Panini is the teacher. Right. More ideas. Go along with the idea of culling and freeze. Cool to have notes that just that if the enemy's frozen, instantly kill enemies at a higher threshold. Yes. Oh, well, the culling is already based on the fact that it's frozen. But I think everyone can agree that Shattering Strike needs a higher coal threshold. Poor turtle. Too many names. Hey, I know lore stuff. Are all 5 of the classes originally from the same era? Yes, they're all from the Divine era now. Originally, they were all from Last Refuge and the Ruined era. But now they're all from the Divine era. But they're all from different places now, which is interesting. So I'm gonna, because you brought it up, we're gonna have a lore conversation. So now they're all different, like all 5 corners of Atera is where they're from, except for the Mage and the Acolyte, because the Acolyte is, yes, the Acolyte may have been away from years. I have a feeling the Acolyte probably went to Thedema. It feels like the Acolyte went to Thedema. The Mage and the Acolyte are from Welrin. No, Divine Era. They're from Welrin. The Primalist is from Herboria. The Paladin, or Sentinel, sorry, is from Solarum. And the Rouge is from the Oasis down here. Is that all 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Yeah. That's where they all are. So if the Acolyte went over to Thedema, then that would literally make it all 5 corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm interested what's under the eagle. It'd be cool to know. Apparently it's the end of time. The end of time is under the eagles. You reread the backstory because you were the only person in the world that liked the short skit. You weren't the only one. I enjoyed the backstories. You thought it would have been appropriate if she had just escaped from the elders? I think she's been gone for a while. I don't think she just escaped. Because she heard tale that like she left and learned more about her study and experiments, and then heard tale about the elders being ransacked and gone at Thedema, which is why she starts making her way back that way, or not Thedema, Welrin. Because the mage has to have time to sit in anguish, right? Without having lost his valued pupil. Otherwise, his backstory isn't as pungent. It's like, oh, you got banned and now you're back again. I guess the ban didn't really mean much to you, did it? Yep. She's been away for a few years and is now heading back because they're falling apart. Exactly. Exactly. Since you've read the backstory, do you agree with me that the Acolyte is a total creepster? Creepy. She seems very demented. Like, probably I would not be friends with her in real life. She's probably not a nice person. Oh, good. Buffered for like 5 minutes. Uh-oh. Stream health? My stream health has been at 5,000 bits. Steady. So, I don't think there's anything on my end. Just your Aussie internet. See, you're not sure. She might have been your best friend 10 years ago. Maybe. When Shatter kills the frozen enemies around it are frozen. Scaling chance to freeze or freeze reduce duration. Chill, making them more susceptible to freeze. Two-handed weapon bonus. Higher risk versus higher reward. I think the attack rate, like if you do the lower attack rate bonuses, or the dot or whatever, then you'd have an innate bonus to two-handed weapons because the two-handed weapons have a lower attack rate. Spends percentage of your current ward to do massive damage in a large area. Regenerates ward per second while Shatter Strike is on cooldown. That could be interesting. I like the idea of spending your defense. And that would be a really good combo with Ice Ward. But I think the 10 to 50 ward per second is way too high. Because then you just have it on cooldown all the time and generate 50 ward per second, which is ridiculous. I think Ice Ward is you generate 4 ward per second, and that's already pretty high. Don't get me started about Teleport Ward. Or Extinguious Ward. Path that has some form of charges, either ones that retaliate with cold damage when something hits you and removes the charge, where you gain a glyph that orbits you and automatically shoots at enemies based on your charges. The crazier, the better. I feel like the glyphs idea might be similar to the vortices idea, except for instead of being basically a cold veil spirit, you can have vortices that orbit around you, deal cold damage, and freeze. Retaliate. I don't know that we need another retaliate thing on mage. From death comes life. Gain life back from the dead. Reduce the dodge and armor of enemies that you hit. Exclamation, exclamation, exclamation at dollar, exclamation at hashtag percent, exclamation percent 16. Sentinel was meant to be female. Female. The Sentinel was originally female, correct. When it was the knight. Yep. They changed that in 0.6.1. Fun fact trivia. You must have been looking at the wiki. Node. So there was originally slated to be 3 female characters and 2 male characters. Did they ever say why they changed? Because they changed the character. Completely. Including the backstory. Backstory, the class name, the thematic. But I think it's mainly a fantasy thing. People had issues with being a female warrior. I don't know. They couldn't believe that the woman could be tanky. Which is nonsense, because the tankiness comes from the armor, of course. And everyone knows female armor is just boob armor, and everything just goes straight to the boobs. Obviously, yes. Girls can't use the shield. Now it makes sense. So obviously women would be more defensive because if everything's always hitting their boobs, the boobs have additional padding for the armor, which deflects a percentage of damage. They can only summon undead things to fight for them, and use bows, apparently. It is known. Right? They can only be smart, but they can only be smart if the old white man trained them to be smart. Yes, I'm looking at you, mage. I can't remember if you looked at my speculations page on the wiki, Turi, but there used to be an insinuation that the person that the rogue was hired to attack was not the Vestal Maiden, but it was in fact the knight, which I thought was super interesting. And it was also implied that the person who had originally asked the rogue to go and kill the knight was the acolyte. So, talk about girl drama. Like, acolyte hates the knight, hires the rogue to go kill the knight. The rogue is like, nah, this knight's actually too decent. I'm not gonna go kill that knight for you. Acolyte's like, what the fuck? You bailing on me, Rogue? That awkward moment when you tell the knight that you were hired to kill her. But they changed the backstories, so it's not a thing anymore. I thought that would have been hilarious. Huge fan of skills that chain. You love to see something like this instead of having you shatter, explode them. Yes, I want to see things shatter and explode. Enemies hit by the explosion will shatter, explode as well. That'd be interesting chaining. So everyone seems to have like a different idea for a way that it should chain, but everyone seems to think that it should chain in some shape or form. So I'll get to mine soon. Three ways to split shatter explosion. Increases the times an enemy can explode. Okay, this is all shattering stuff. Here we go. So, I also wanted to increase mana efficiency because, oh boy, is it expensive. Okay, so I did suggest damage to enemies at max health here. And increase freeze rate so that you can set up the skill to do its own culling, at least a little bit. It'd still be hard, I think, because it costs so much mana. Culling can no longer be applied on the initial hit. 1 second after casting, cast another smaller hit that can cull. So that's kind of one of the echoing ideas, is that you freeze. So this I like because it gives you a chance to freeze before you actually hit and do the cull effect. Because you have the base freeze rate from the skill. So you can hit and deal the damage and have the full like chance to freeze, and then follow it up with the cull instead of having to have them frozen before you actually use the skill. Take a nap, then assassinate the target. Yes. Alright, alright, we already went over all of Reimer's ideas. So here are some more of my like echo ideas. So Reflective Strikes summons a mirror image that uses a culling strike. Mirror Shield doubles duration and number of minions. Deal 50% less damage. So turning it into kind of like a minion summon as well. But these minions would be less useful than the ones summoned by teleport because they would just do the culling and only after like 2 seconds. So they'd be more of like a very temporary damage soak thing. But then Reflection Dimension, you no longer deal damage to enemies. You cull your minions with less than pairs 50% HP. And then that can go in combination with the shrapnel idea. Did I have a shrapnel idea? I didn't suggest shrapnel. Well, I definitely want shrapnel. But minions you cull and have increased shrapnel damage. So turning it from... So basically doing an acolyte thing where you turn it from a damage skill to a... My minions deal damage now. Wow, bad. You don't want to kill your minions and have them explode. Or bad that I didn't have, didn't actually suggest the shrapnel. Glacial Swing. So that's the reduced attack speed with a dot thing. Bad I didn't have shrapnel. Fair enough. Look at me. Shattering Force. Reduces AoE to 180 degree arcs. So instead of going the full 360 here, it would just be in front of you. So it looked like this. So this is my movement CC. You deal increased damage and are knocked back 3 meters after your attack. So you attack and then boop, you go back here. Boop, and go back. So it kind of lets you get in and gives you like a chance to get out as well. You know, maybe you could have some knockback from the skill itself as well. But then you lose the area damage from behind you. You can't see it! So, area would look like this. It'd be like a half circle. So you lose out on the damage behind you, but then you like go back, whoop, go back, whoop, go back, whoop. You're off to bed. Have a good night. Then adding backwards momentum so that you deal damage to enemies that you hit on your way traveling backwards. And then having increased AoE for the damage that you do while going backwards. So then that would all be physical damage. So there could be like some physical scaling there. So instead of going in an arc that's like this, you now be basically you deal frost damage like that. You'd be knocked backwards, so you deal damage in a straight line behind you, so it looks like that. And then if you get the increased AoE, kind of look like that, and then eventually you can maybe get the increased AoE up to 180. And then basically it looked like a giant pill for the area. Alright, so now I'm just going to play. I think I went through all of the ideas, didn't I? We talked about Mesmer. Vortex, mana efficiency. Yeah. I'm just going to play. I'm going to try to shatter as many things as I can. Have a good night. See you tomorrow. We'll talk about that D&D thing. Because if the culling is equal to the amount of damage I deal anyways, then there's no point in culling unless it has a pretty visual. Because I think I already do 5% damage with the attack, right? So 5% culling means nothing. Or maybe that's not 5% damage to that. Right, can I call you now? Nope, nope, nope. Oh! The culling is not working. The culling was definitely not working there. Okay, it's definitely not working. Don't forget the sound effect. The sound effect. Did you just hear D&D? You did. Reimer's got a D&D campaign going. If you're if you'll clip, thank you. Appreciate it. If you are in Reimer's Discord, you can join Reimer's Discord. And he has like an Adventure Islands campaign thing that he's trying to get started. So maybe it's not just because it's super hard to cull things. Maybe it's because the culling doesn't work. See, I can't tell because I just kill things. So I need to find something with really high health. Right. Leave the vortex, don't die. Oh, wrong skill. Damn it. Damn it, Janet. Okay, this guy has a lot of health. Tested it on him. All right, come this way. Out of there. All right, so I'm inclined to believe that it's definitely not working. Which would explain why it feels like it needs increased coal. Coaling frozen enemies at low health. Okay, it's not doing that. Rare enemies have 90% increased health. Okay, that explains why this guy has so much health, because he also has the Ox modifier. Like, jeez, it takes forever to kill. Am I getting more mana on the hit than I'm using? Just barely not. Die, oh man, die. Get cold. Get cold. Coal, 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 coal. Coal, coal, coal. Yeah, not working. Coal, 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 coal. Still alive? It's not calling this guy either. Coal, 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 coal. Alright, so it didn't even call him at like 2% health. Still, nope. Definitely a bug. Noble Raiment, that's the spell armor, ain't it? I might like that. I might like me some Noble Raiments. Noble Raiment sure is good. I want a hat that has a downside of subtracted intelligence. Am I noble enough? Only one way to find out. That's to have coitus with my sister and see if it's acceptable or not. Right. That's how nobility works, isn't it? What else can I do with this? It's fun. So I haven't done the word thing here, but I don't want to. It took a little too long for you to get that. I don't know why I want this skill. I don't want it. I think Epog is like at least chill and shock. Aha! I cold them with my face. I face cold them. So, I guess since it's not even calling, there's not really much I can try out with this skill aside from. That's strange. Does it? Seems like it canceled its animation really early. Yeah, that's weird. You see that? It's got a really short animation if I cancel it. If I move. Does it lag? I don't think so. It's 70 frames. I'm just canceling the animation early, pretty sure. Just need to figure out how to. It looks really laggy when I do it. Probably because it's trying to deal damage and cancel the animation at the same time. Is it when I move? I can't do it again. I did it like 5 times in a row now. I can't do it. Strange. Yep. What was that? See that one? It like went forward and then backward. Oh, I did want to try out maybe doing like alternating with Mana Strike. Oh, it's got such a different AoE that feels weird. How am I supposed to do this? Mana, cool. What if Mana Strike had freeze rate? You know what I'd like to see somewhere? Which would probably be super hard to code. But I would like to see a skill. Yeah, but even if I have video evidence, it doesn't matter if it's not replicable. Because I can't just say like, here's this thing that happened. I could submit my logs, I guess, but even then that's probably not helpful. I want a skill that has like some sort of AoE or something that leaves a trail or something that after you use it, it guides your projectiles along the trail. So I could like, it'd be especially cool if I could like change the pathing on the trails. So like I could have like a circle or something that goes like that. It helps me know that I'm not going crazy. That's true. But like maybe I could like draw a trail that like goes around this corner and does like this thing. And then I like throw my hammers and it follows the trail. Of course that would totally defeat the purpose of spiraling hammers. But maybe like for my fireballs or something. It'd be a neat skill interaction. My volcanic orb now follows the path. Of course, the most optimal path is probably to just go forward and back and 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 just toss all the projectiles into that and just have like a crazy like rebounding thing. So you'd have to have some sort of limitation on that. Oh, it's ability to backtrack. And it doesn't have to be something that you can curve either. We have VR things. Like virtual reality? D3 did that with hammers, but it's been a while since you've played. Did they? Be interesting. The coding might be difficult. Yeah. The combo with Mana Strike feels really off. Mana Strike, I need like AoE. Is that a node? Yeah, increased AoE. I wonder if maybe it's not considering snap freeze and actual freeze because it applies differently than other freezes. And has a different duration. Like maybe it's checking for the coal if it has been frozen within the last 2 seconds, but my freeze lasts longer than 2 seconds. So it doesn't count the freeze. I can try and test that. No, it still doesn't seem to coal anyways. My glacier seems very weak. I'm stacking dex. Yes. Well, stacking dexterity for added cold damage. So it has a lot of added cold damage, but I haven't got really much increased yet. 13 int. Am I like, where's my increased cold damage? It's pretty low, 146. Nearly as much elemental. So this was... I was dealing essentially the same damage with Glacier. I'm dealing essentially the same damage with Glacier as I was 30 levels ago. So that's a thing. %30 dodge. So I was gonna make this character my like health regen defense character to like kind of test out health regen, but since it has such high dexterity and has that like good ward trail close call interaction, it's becoming more of a block and dodge defense kind of character. Did I ever play Torchlight? No. I played, was it Fable? Not Fable. I don't remember the name of it. There's a game I played that was similar. That's all I know. Damn crows. Tried out the MMO alpha yesterday. How was that? I think Torchlight is one of those traditionally Linux released games, so I could be feasibly interested. Oof, I'm getting tired already. I don't think it's chilling anything. Does the chill on focus work? I'm pretty sure the chill on focus does not work. 20% chance to chill each second. Oh gosh. Buff the maggots, I say. Buff the maggots. You played and enjoyed both RPGs. Passive point. Point for pasta. Slightly biased by nostalgia, but you quite liked it. Well, that actually probably means it's pretty good. If they tried to do a different genre with the same kind of game, that usually goes over poorly with the people who liked it originally, so I think that's probably a good sign. Guardians of Ember at the moment. Amorop. How's that one? Oh my, look at that! Another finished set. I've got 2 of them now. Buff the maggots. 3,000 damage. That was, oh, because it was vulnerable to the melee attacks. So it takes like 6 times damage, the crows do, from melee. It feels more like an Arpica than a Mo now. Never played an MMO before, but it's kind of fun, but so slow. Guess that's the MMO part. Yeah. I'm pretty sure this node doesn't work. This crow don't seem chilled at all. If I remember right, the chance to release a shockwave doesn't work either. Or does it only work if I have no mana? I can test that out pretty easy. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's working. Buff the maggots. They're too weak. We saw Torchlight was an ARPG. Torchlight 1-2 are RPGs. Frontiers is an MMO. I look like I'm constipated though. Me? What makes me look constipated? This is the way I'm sitting. Oh, when I channel focus. Oh yeah, the mage in his Speedus form. Yeah, he does look kind of constipated. You're not wrong. Rune of refinement. So refined. Ba da 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 da. Turtleneck? I'm not crazy. Inferno also thought you were talking about me. Not the character. Ow. So I need to freeze you, I guess. So you don't do mean things to me. I'm not Pokemon. Ow. Alright, that's cool, because I wanted to switch on to my mage, my other mage anyways. But not the mage that you're looking for. Are the icons case? What do you mean case? I want to play my mirror mage a bit. Do you mean are the emotes case sensitive? Oh. Yeah. Right, this is not the mage you are looking for. BTTV ones are? I don't think LOL is a BTTV one. What's up this way? Did I already do this? Ragnar the Battle Hungry. Find an arena key. How am I supposed to do that? Learned something new today. I'm terrible with emotes too, except for the fact that I have some. I have Panini. I can make emotes, I just don't know how to use them. Mirror, mirror on the wall, tell me which mage is the strongest. Fire! LOL. LUL. Alright. So I'll just do a couple runs on this. And bed by time. If only I could jump over there. What? Crazy. Hashtag science, hashtag math. Did I run out of music? I ran out of music. It's all gone. It's all gone now. The music, my life, my dreams, my future, my mirrors. Right now I'm just gonna finish the wave. Prove point. So I've been toying around with focus here and I'm not sure what I can do with it to make it useful when I'm casting it on my minions. Because I can get the lightning stuff, sure. But like, Let's try Rick. Oh, I think this works. They don't need to move. I can see if I can give them ward. Or you just make them shock and ignite things. I don't need them to generate health. They can't gain mana. Sure, I don't know what to do with this. I'm gonna see what happens when I give it ward, I guess. Just to science. Just to science and see if they gain ward or not. Well, I guess they won't be able to see it. They have a health bar, not a ward bar. And not even Admiral Akbar. I've got the shock ground. Oh no, oh no. Huzzah. You can type the colon and then start writing the emote. It should come up for you to select from. Turi and Panini. Yes, that is how I usually do emotes. Because doing it any other way takes too long. Open Portal. Portal. More file damage. Right, so I have 100% chance to chill, which is actually 100% chance to ignite. I can increase the duration, or not ignite, sorry. Chance to shock. Increases shock effectiveness. Hmm. So I can increase the duration or the effectiveness. I feel like effectiveness is more important. One point to spend. Wait. When did I unlock black hole? Wait. Oh. This is a different character. Okay, that makes more sense. It's like, what? How about the end of a sentence? Blah, blah. Too much time in Twitch chat. What's this? Okay, so I'm not dealing cold damage. I just need mana. I guess I can take the ignite stuff. Because I'm doing the fire damage with the fire shield. Just a space, yes. Mind the gap. As we can tell, Balor. Mind the gap, but maybe not so much. Okay. Battle Mage? Yes, that one. The one that does all of the spaces in his thing. You don't like that guy if you have his name right. He's an Aussie streamer. He streams PoE. Sometimes. A lot of the times. You seemed okay. We watched him on PoE a couple of times. I wonder what he did to make you angry. Anyways, I'm going to call that a night. Thank you for coming out. Enjoyed the talks on Shattering Strike. It was fun. I'll be streaming tomorrow and Sunday. Bedtime? Yes, it is definitely bedtime. I'm about to fall asleep. Yes, I will be throwing you all over onto Dagum. Dagum is streaming. Have a good night. Thanks for coming out.